Hey guys, this is Grant Coombs III, aka Balbomb, coming to you for another video from CardRunners.com. In this video, one of my buddies, Epdog, Adam, who's been a really big contributor for CardRunners over, as long as I can really remember being a part of the site. Really good guy. He has contributed a video for us playing 100NL on Bovada. And he has a really unique game, very aggressive, fun to watch, pretty high action, so I think you guys will really enjoy it. He's also played higher in the past, so I think there's definitely going to be a nice level of sophistication that you guys should like throughout this Leakfinder. Now, in this video, he's going to be playing on Bovada. That is a smaller US-based site that also does not have a HUD and is actually also playing on anonymous tables. So before you get into playing on some of these smaller sites, and particularly anonymous tables, I wanted to list a few things that you should really be focusing on to help you with your game that's probably a lot of your other opponents are not thinking as much about. The number one and most important thing when you're dealing with anonymous tables is that you have to make adjustments based on assumptions, and you have to go with those assumptions more than on normal tables. What I mean by that is, if we just have something simple like someone buying in for 80 big blinds, we can immediately label them as most likely a recreational player, and they will do things that recreational players do. Probably not value bet as thinly as possible, might be on the passive side, willing to stack off lighter than most regulars, things like that. As well as using these assumptions, you also need to take them to the next level. Things such as if someone immediately min raises you at some point, probably going to label them as a recreational player. If someone 3-bets twice in an orbit, we'd probably label them as a stronger player. If someone isolates a limper, probably going to be a stronger player. If someone limps in, probably going to be a weaker player. These are the sort of things that you really need to be looking out for, so that you can get ahead of the game and hopefully pick up some pots that your other regulars are not going to be as aware about. The second thing that I like to do personally, particularly at anonymous tables, is I definitely like to start out a little bit tighter than I would normally. Definitely, probably. I don't know if there's a mathematical way of looking at this, but I would probably take the top 5% of hand, or the bottom 5% of hands pre-flop that I would be folding, or that I would be raising in with, probably fold those hands. You could even take that to an extra 10%. Definitely playing much tighter out of the blinds, particularly out of the small blind, which I always am advocating anyway. Additionally, I like to take control of the pots that I am in, and I like to immediately be 3 and 4 betting more than the average person. So while I definitely want to approach the game in a tight manner, when I'm in there, I want to be firing and try to be as aggressive as possible, seeing which players are going to react to me defensively and which players are going to be maybe more proactive and either defend against this or even combat my aggression with more aggression. Additionally, we also have to realize the fact that anonymous players are going to be more likely to make random bluffs, are going to be more likely to stack off lightly, are going to be more likely to make some rather ill-advised pre-flop calls, things like that. The reason for this, obviously, is that there's no database that you can check their statistics. There's really no one that you can even... They're not going to be chastised for a bad play or anything like that. Also, they're not going to be targeted by a bunch of regulars. If a weaker player happens to sit down, there's not going to be 4 regulars immediately sitting down, or people changing to the left or right of them. This sense of security is also going to allow them to make some looser plays, some stack offs you're not necessarily expecting, things like that. Maybe even a really big bluff that you're not expecting. So when approaching the games, you definitely need to err on the side of he's probably has a lighter range and a bluffier range than normal. Therefore, hands that might be marginal call downs are going to lean more towards actual profitable call downs. An example might be at anonymous tables, I'm probably going to be happier getting in pocket 9s and pocket 10s from middle position than I would be otherwise. And that's the same thing as taking the 5 or 10% of hands that you might fold early when you're trying to raise pre-flop. You also need to take the the top of the hands that you might just be calling the 3-bets with, turning them into 4-bet for value. Likewise, if it's a very close call between a fold or a call on the river, probably going to make some more close call downs than I would otherwise.